Welcome to the Newfane Selectboard meeting. It is Monday, July 1st, 6 p.m. I'd like to welcome everyone, and we have Katie Johnson-Aplin and myself and Angela Litchfield at the table. On Zoom, we have Jeff Chevalier and hi Ann. We have Ann Golob, and on the phone we have Mike Fitzpatrick. We also have Kate Gehring from the Planning Commission, Doris Knechtel from the Lister's office.
Right.
What's up?
Yes.
Yes. Juanetta Powling, our administrative assistant, Jay Wilson, our road foreman, and of course our wonderful Austin Rice from BCTV. Has this meeting been properly warned?
Yes.
Thank you. Are there any additions or amendments to the agenda? It seems like since Bill Gunther won't be here and he gave you notes, can we put that as part of your report?
Well, I didn't get any notes. I asked for an update and hadn't heard back from him, but I will contact him again.
Okay, so we'll just take that right off. Any other additions or amendments?
I wanted to talk about the energy grant
Okay.
and the regional policing presentation. I just wondered if there was more to say about it.
We'll put that as old business
Okay,
since we've already started chatting about that stuff.
okay.
Is that all right with you?
All right. Totally. Katie?
I would just tie in the invasive plant treatment stuff with Jay while he's still on the line. So after the road foreman and road commissioners report, please.
Perfect. Anything else?
I just want to let you guys know I do have to disappear around 7 o'clock tonight. I have another meeting.
So can we move, if you have any updates on your town beautification and the benches, we can move that up right after Juanetta's report?
That would be excellent. Thank you.
Great, so we'll put that after the administrative assistant's report. Moving right along, the approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the June 3rd meeting minutes?
Make a motion.
Thank you, Mike. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Katie. Any discussion?
I have a couple of punctuation spelling notes that I'll pass on to you, Juanetta, and then I think it's good to go. They're very small.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, all those approve with the slight amendments for punctuation, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Thank you. Ayes have it. Good evening, Jay. Welcome. It's time for your road foreman and commissioners report.
So we had the meeting at Williamsville Hall to look at the trees last week at some point. I can't remember when. The consensus is that they should be removed. I'm getting prices to remove the ash tree as soon as possible so Emmett can replace his retaining wall. And the silver maple would require a crane and does not affect the wall, so that can be done at a later date. And I've also been getting prices on that. The silver maple's very large. You don't realize how big it is till you stand there, and it's a big tree.
And they're on the property of the hall?
They're on town property.
Great.
The next door, the person that sold the house to Emmett came down and showed us where the little marker was.
Great.
So, Bill started out thinking that maybe it could be cabled, and then we talked about how much that would cost, and then if that doesn't work after a few years, it would end up having to be cut down anyway. So it kind of the consensus was that it was didn't make sense to try to spend money and then spend it again to get rid of it. We need to move the contracted services for bridges to capital as of the end of the fiscal year so that we can continue to work on the bridge stuff. Melissa was going to take care of it. You just need to approve doing it. I think she was going to date it as of yesterday. So it would be all in last year's. After several emails back and forth with the insurance company from Adams Hill Bridge, a different person that I've been dealing with is going to review it and get back to me. The one I've been dealing with just kept saying you had to keep starting from scratch with her, and finally this guy seemed to be a little better. So we'll see what they come up with.
Thanks for staying
And
on.
I did contact Bill Jewell, and he's willing to send his information to MSK for them to do the application. So he'll help however he can. We should have paving bids to open tonight. And I did find out it was Longview Forest that damaged the pavement on South Wardsboro Road. I reached out to them, and Logan will come over and look at it, and he said they will make it right.
Thank you so much. Okay, is there a motion to approve the?
Make a motion to approve it.
Thank you, second.
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Anything on number one from anyone else?
On what?
Number one, which is the trees at Williamsville Hall. Sounds like it's all in progress.
Yeah, until we got the tree down on River Road, that looks good.
The tree on River Road, Jay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks pretty good like that gone now, so.
Yeah. Be easier to get around the corner with the plow or the wing now.
Is that the one by
One
OJ's?
more rodder.
Oh, that's gone?
Yep.
Oh, wow. I haven't been down
Tried
there.
to take it down years ago when his father didn't want it taken down, and OJ does, so it worked out good.
I haven't been down that way since winter, so I'll have to go check it out. Number two, do we need a motion to move contracted services bridges to capital for all the bridge work?
Make a motion, we do that.
Second,
I'll second it.
any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstained, ayes have it. Thank you for staying on top of the Adams Hill Bridge project. And also,
Very interesting when you keep sending them the same emails. I've gotten to the point where I go back to January or whatever and keep forwarding them the original email, and I don't know. Well, I'm hoping something comes out of it this time.
good things come to those who wait, they say. Number four, Bill Jewell and MSK. Sounds like you're on the right track there.
One question for anybody that might remember. Was there ever any testing done prior to us buying it to show the depth of the groundwater? Does anybody remember anything about that?
I don't.
I couldn't find a thing.
Alright.
Paving bids
I
will.
thought they were up there digging something one time, but I can't remember what it was for, you?
I don't know. I mean, this would have to go fairly deep, I would think.
Yeah.
So it'd probably be done with some sort of drill or something.
Can we move along? We'll do the bids after we approve the report. And thank you for finding out the information from Longview Forest.
Yep.
And I'm sure you'll have a report on that at the next meeting. Is there anything else for the road foreman and commissioners report?
No.
Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstained, ayes have it. And now we'll do the bids.
I do have one question.
Yes,
So we finally got the capital budget back on track. And we're starting to build the money so we can get caught up on replacing things. And we're 2 years behind on the backhoe. I wondered how you'd feel about putting that out to bid to see what they come out at. We've
For
got the
a
money.
new one?
For it. Yeah,
for a new one?
yeah. We were going to do it when it was 12 years old. Now it's 14. And we finally have the money put away for some of this stuff. So now I didn't know if you would be okay with putting that out to bid.
How does the board feel about putting that out to bid?
Makes sense to me. As long as we have the money put away for it, why not?
Agreed.
I would check with them, but I mean, the only thing is, it's still pretty good shape, is it, Jay?
It's having some issues. It's not bad. I mean, it's got 5,000 hours.
Yeah.
We've had to rebuild some stuff on it. We put a hydraulic pump in it 2 years ago. I think it was 2 or 3. It definitely has some issues, but we're still making it work.
Well, the only thing I was thinking about is, that's one of the reasons we bought the excavator to help, so we didn't use that when we were much,
Yep.
Stuff.
We still end up running all over town with this one to clean culverts and during all the storms because the other one's too hard to get around. If you need to get around quickly, this is the backhoe is what we use.
I can see, I guess I ask them what they give you for it, I guess.
Yep. Okay.
Hard to ask.
I don't think it would hurt to put it out to bid and then we don't really, if we decide not to.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, if the numbers don't come
It'd
in right.
be better to get out from the problems that it has than to have new problems arise with regular use.
so if you wanna look into that, go for it, I guess is what the board's saying.
Okay. We'll write something up.
Thank you. Now we'll look at the invitation to bid paving project at Grimes Hill Road. We are accepting bids for the paving of Grimes Hill Road. Contact Newfane Road Foreman J. Wilson. The project is Grimes Hill Road from Vermont Route 30 to intersection with Dover Road. The road width is approximately 24 feet wide. The contractor must measure the length and width of the road and bid accordingly. The contractor will be responsible for sweeping and applying emulsion tack under pressure to surface prior to paving. Apply 1/2 inch shim. The area will have 1.5 inch compacted top coat. Joints to be keyed 24 inch wide minimum to provide smooth transition from existing surface to new blacktop. Tapered joints be staggered longitudinal. All driveways and side roads will have a 2-foot apron. Traffic control and signs will be the responsibility of the contractor and the entire operation. We have one bid.
Where's the bid from?
The bid is from Springfield Paving. Approximately 9,700 plus linear feet, price per ton in place, $97.29. Estimated project total cost, $286,003.20.
Wow.
And they also presented a certificate of liability insurance.
How much we have in there for it?
Yeah, we've got plenty of money. The estimate I came up with was 276, so they aren't too far off.
That's not bad.
And we have the full amount of the money put aside?
Yep. V-Trans gave us 200,000 more to do that.
Oh,
Project.
right. Nice.
Yep.
Does,
So what we do, have that listed throughout the papers and stuff, or?
I didn't
Didn't hear 'em.
Mike, we can't hear you very well. Can you articulate
I
that?
just wondered how we file, I mean, it seems funny, we only keep getting one bid, but, yeah, I guess everybody's busy, but it almost felt like days and they were all bid on it.
We really can't hear you clearly.
I was just wondering how come how many people did we notify or did they call, was it posted or something?
We put it in the newspaper, the regular bidding thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your question, Katie?
My question was about the culvert that's chewed up a little bit of pavement at the base of the hill on Grimes Hill. Will that have any additional work or ditching prior to the paving?
The on the side towards the downhill side, you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
You go past.
Yeah.
If we're go, yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna put some riprap on that spot.
great. I just hate seeing pavement put down and then culverts digging it up again. It's like, oh, it's backwards.
So is there a motion to approve Springfield paving for the Grimes Hill Road
I'll
paving
make a
job?
motion to approve it.
Second?
I second.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion, any further? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, you're an aye? Or-
I'm an aye.
Okay, great. Opposed, abstained, ayes have it.
Could I have that amount again?
286,003.23.
I already passed the folder, I'm sorry.
Okay, thanks.
All right, now we will discuss Katie's invasive plant treatment with Jay.
Oh, Jay sent me a text message this morning, so he should tell you about it.
Updates, please.
So I've talked to V-Trans about who they use, and they have their own in-house person. I talked to Green Mountain Power, and they have several, and they were going to try to get me a couple names that do. And then out of the blue, Henry Carr texted me the other night that he's going to be back doing that under the new company.
Good.
And he expects to be up and running by midsummer, I guess. And he would be able to do that same kind of stuff.
Did you invite him out to look as well?
I have not. I just passed that along to Katie. I didn't know kind of where you were as far as what you want to do and whether we can get a permit, how long it's going to take to get the permit and so forth. We have to have, I was looking at the permit, you have to have the applicator's name and permit number to apply for the right-of-way permit.
Of course.
So we have to pick somebody and then go for the permit.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just wait and see what GMP and how Henry's coming along. We'll go from there. Do you have any further updates?
Only that we should try to do the wisteria first and then start working on the rest of the knotweed. And we probably need some quotes so that we don't overspend.
Okay.
Those are my thoughts on the matter.
Anything further? Any questions?
Do we have money in the budget to cover this?
I have no idea.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
I'm thinking whether we could put it under highway contracted services possibly, or I guess it really technically wouldn't go under trees, but
Well, it
I
kind
don't know.
of,
I'll have to,
you're
I'll have to
protecting
look at
trees.
what's that.
You kind of could if you're trying to protect the tree.
Yeah. So me too. I don't have a clue how much money something like that would be. I've never tried to hire somebody to do something like that, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I maybe give it a couple weeks and I'll reach back out to Henry and see where he is and if he'd be willing to come and talk to us, and maybe he can give us some ideas on what he's capable of doing and so forth.
Great.
Cool.
Maybe by July 15th, our next meeting?
Possibly. He said midsummer he was going to be up and running, so that's.
If not, we can push it to August 5th, unless we get something else from GMP.
Did he close his current company?
He did, and he's been bought out, I believe, and he's still going to work for him.
Oh,
All right, anything further on the invasive plant treatment? If not, good evening, Juanetta. It is time for the administrative assistance report.
Good evening. People are inquiring about the progress on the beautification benches. The fire alarm inspection at the Williamsville Hall was completed last Wednesday. I will share the documents with Steve Levine when I get them. V-Trans will take care of the graffiti on Route 30 on the wall and under the bridge in the next few weeks, thanks to the reminder of one of our residents in the area. I have scheduled Tim Jones from Green Mountain Power, Field Operations and Project Coordinator, to attend the July 17th Select Board meeting. He will review the work Green Mountain Power will be doing in the Newfane Town right-of-way. Today was a reminder that we have the Freedom Act of 1983. Two men with cameras visited the town office this afternoon. It's important to remember to offer to be of assistance, be friendly, do not try to prevent them from recording. Close down your computers and cover your paperwork. I attached the blogger's name, and most likely we will be on his YouTube. He has 186,000 subscribers. Needless to say, he is not a fan of Peter because Peter was very protective and came over to inquire with the two of us being here by ourselves. And it was an opportunity for the visitor to try to bait Peter, and Peter left for a while. So.
I'm sorry, Peter who?
Putnam, he works with Carol. He's the assistant town clerk.
I do
Got it.
have an animal control contract for fiscal year 24-25. On page 2, section 2, the fee is the same that we budgeted for, which is $4,236 for the annual contract. And I will reach out to Bill Gunther and see about rescheduling him for an update on the emerald ash borer.
Excellent. Is there a motion to approve the administrative assistance report?
Make a motion.
Second,
I'll second it.
discussion.
Do we have a sheriff contract as well, or have we already
We
signed
already
that?
did that one, I believe. Didn't we do that one? Yeah. I would like you to check on your date because I think our next select board meeting is July 15th, not the 17th. The 17th is a Wednesday.
Today's the 1st, so that makes sense.
I'm
Yes.
sorry.
That's okay. Just reach out to Tim and make sure that he comes on Monday, not Wednesday.
You're right, and I did.
Yes, Doris.
Who was that person that came here today? What was he doing?
He was filming, with the Freedom Act of 1983. They have, the right to come in any public building and video, walk around. You can offer to assist them, but you cannot prevent them from going into any open room.
There are people who.
Wait.
It's to antagonize people so they can film it and put it up on YouTube. That's
Can I
all.
clarify something?
Yes, Anne, please.
They are absolutely allowed in any public spaces, but any space that is considered a private workspace that the public is not allowed to come into unless given permission, then they cannot enter. So they cannot go into the area where Carol works. They cannot go into any office, and we can define all of these as spaces that the public is not available for public access unless someone is specifically invited into it by the person who works in that space.
He did not go beyond the counter in Carol's office.
Okay, I just wanted to,
He stayed out here in this area. He did not go
Okay.
into smaller offices.
okay, and I just wanted to clarify that he has no right to, no one has any right to do so, because that is considered private space for work by the people who work in the office. So no one should be, we have to accept anyone coming into a public space, but we have absolutely do not have to allow anyone to go beyond the door to an office if we don't want them in there.
Peter?
They will zoom in on your screen with their camera. They will zoom in on your screen and start reading things off from your screen to antagonize you and disrupt you. And, you know, when you're trying to focus on something, that's the last thing you need is someone
Right.
20 feet away, zoomed in on your screen and reading things off your screen.
And at that point, you should close your computer and
Do.
wait until they're gone.
I have to leave the building. He was clearly looking to start a fight so that his friend could film it.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen several of these on the internet
I did
and,
as well. Did they go in the lister's house?
No, ma'am.
Good.
The door was closed.
Good. Thank you, I just wanted to know that. So.
well, it's best to let them come in and be in the
So
phone.
Winetta,
Yes.
would you check with VLCT? Because I remember they had, I believe it was them that had a video about this last year. And just see, do we need to put up any kind of sign defining public versus private space in the office so that it's official?
That'd be
I
good.
don't remember that detail.
Yeah, that would be good.
That would be really good.
You can't go beyond the counter.
Right.
Okay,
Angela?
Unless you're asked to do so.
And could you report back to us on that at the next meeting, Winetta?
Yes, I will.
They clearly have nothing better to do.
is there anything else for the administrative assistance report?
I had two things.
Go for it.
You had sent out an email about a week ago, Winetta, asking about a review of our FEMA insurance and whether or not Newfane met all the requirements. I never saw any email saying what the resolution of that was.
I heard back from Wade Mashur, who had forwarded it to the underwriters contracting, and they had reviewed the policy. Anything to do with the roads or bridges is not needed for the additional insurance, so it's only the buildings and the contents. And at this point, we are fully insured to what we need to be.
Okay, but just do me a favor in the future, when you hear back, if you could just send an email just to close that loop, so we don't
Yes.
have to be tracking all the open items. And the other one I wanted to request was we got an email, I assume you got it as well, Winetta, but I don't know, which was about these health care community meetings that was sent by Daniel Bandler from the state, saying that they're going to be having a number of community meetings about healthcare, and they posted when the meetings are going to be and different messages that they were hoping that towns could get out to people. I can't see who the distribution list, everyone was blind CC'd. So do you know if you got this? It was on June 26th. If not, I'll forward it to you. The reason I'm bringing it up is to request that we use our, inform people about this, whether it's putting it on the website or sending it out as an attachment to the minutes or putting it on front page forum. But it feels like these are the kind of meetings that, are really talking about the heart of healthcare going forward in Vermont. And I would think that a number of people might be very interested to participate in the meetings.
I have it right here, would you like me to forward it?
Yes, please.
Sent. Anything else?
That
Yeah,
is
I
it.
could.
Oh, hello.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Hello, I'm still here.
Hi.
Yeah, I can talk about the town beautification right now if you want.
Go right to number one then, we'll do it right now.
Yeah, that's great. So I spoke with the people on my committee. We have agreed to go forward with the one submission that was sent in. I contacted Dale and let him know that he has the green light to go on his bench. And I spoke with Johnny Swing, and we are going to meet and possibly just batch the other 5 benches out, he and I together.
That's
Since we haven't seen anybody submit anything, he would be willing to take on the bases, and I would provide the wood to go on top. And we're going to have a meeting about that hopefully this Thursday. He just had a knee replacement, so hopefully he'll be up and about enough to talk to me about that this Thursday.
That's amazing.
But
That'd be great.
Yeah, I think that would be just the easiest way to go forward if the board agrees. The two of us could just tackle it together, and that way we'd get benches.
That sounds awesome.
They are the goal. That's great.
Yes, exactly.
We're lucky to have such talented people in our community.
Okay.
Yeah, I would feel very, very privileged to get to work with him. He's an awesome guy and a great artist, so it'd be fun.
That's terrific.
Okay, anything further for the administrative assistance report?
We're talking about meetings and things coming up. I got an email today from Becca Balint. She and Senator Welch will be up in Londonderry tomorrow at 1:00 at some restaurant to have an open meeting with community members and town representatives. I think I would like to go to that. Is there anything that any of you have on your mind that you'd like to put a bug in the ear of our Washington folks?
Not that I can think of.
We don't have time to go through it all.
Jay, has the whole issue with the salt shed and the
No.
issue, is that worth bringing up to him at least?
That would be a good one because that affected the Depot Road culvert, and the federal money is great, but they put such restrictions on it that it makes the cost almost double what it really should be. And they've got to come up with a better answer than the way they're doing it.
Gotcha.
Like everything else in our
Thanks.
state.
I mean, yeah, the Fed stuff is, the red tape's stupid, frankly.
Okay.
Just one quick thing before I get off. You mentioned the sheriff's department.
Mhm.
The last 2 or 3 weeks, they have been in Newfane like crazy.
They
So-
have.
I'm enjoying it, and the people are noticing the attention on Dover Road, which is fantastic.
They were in Williamsville at the Old Town Garage today. They've been pretty much everywhere I've been. I've seen them, so that's encouraging.
I have gone out and thanked several of them on a few different occasions, so yes, it's been great to see. Okay, anything further on the administrative assistance report? If not, all those in favor of approving, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstained, the ayes have it. Thank you, Juanetta. Do we need to vote on this, or we've already done that we just need to sign it, right? Because it's already part of the budget.
Correct.
So is there a motion for me to sign as the duly authorized agent for this contract?
I make a motion to approve our select board chair to sign.
Thank you, Mike, thank you, Katie. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstained, ayes have it. 7. All right. There's that. Moving right along, so we've talked about benches, we don't need to do that. We will go right into zoning, and it looks like we need to appoint an assistant zoning administrator due to a few conflicts of interest now that Katie's taking over. Is there a motion to appoint Merle Tessier as the assistant zoning administrator?
I make a motion.
Is there a
I
second?
second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
So Merle requested this of me the other day, and I immediately put it on the agenda so that he can still come into the office and help Katie if necessary, and also fill in for her if she needs to be away or is going on vacation.
But it's also, I think, specifically to deal with the Manitou project because her father owns the land that abuts it, so.
That as well.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstained, ayes have it. So we thought also with Merle stepping down and resigning, we came up with
Retiring.
retiring. We came up with a resolution, and I would like to present it to the board, and if you are all satisfied with it, we could make a motion to accept it and sign. It says resolution, whereas Merle Tessier joined the town of Newfane staff on July 9, 2012, and served in the position of zoning administrator and 911 coordinator. And whereas Merle Tessier retired from the town of Newfane on June 28, 2024, having served the community of Newfane for 12 years. And whereas Merle Tessier throughout his career exemplified the mission of the town of Newfane to provide services and resources and knowledge to support the development of the community, and whereas the dedication of Merle Tessier to serve the community cannot be understated, and whereas Merle Tessier has served as a mentor to his colleagues and trained his replacement. Now therefore be it resolved, the Newfane Select Board hereby thanks Merle Tessier for his years of dedicated service to the community and the people of Newfane, and wish him the very best in his retirement. Adopted this first day of July 2024. How do people feel?
Sounds good.
Is there
That sounds great.
Is there a motion
Very
to
good.
adopt this resolution for Merle Tessier?
I make such a motion.
Second. Great. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Opposed, abstained? Stop in and sign it when you have a chance.
Okay.
If you could sign it for me, because I'm about to go away.
Done.
If we could I make one other suggestion?
Of course.
If Juanetta could print it out on nice paper and buy an inexpensive frame, and maybe we could then present it to him.
That's a great idea.
That is a wonderful.
Maybe if he could come to the next meeting, we could just do a little presentation to him.
We can read it again. That'd be great.
Sure.
Okay, if there's nothing else for that, we will go to Doris from the Lister's office to set the new tax rate. The floor is yours.
You have the information about the municipal tax rate?
Did it go through our policy of approval that we had formed after the last?
I can tell you that Melissa and I got together
Okay,
between using the town report and the minutes from the town meeting. And my giving the grand list total, that's the numbers that we came up with.
I did have a conversation with her about it before we came into the meeting, and she was happy with it all, so that's good.
Yeah.
I would just like to say I spent easily, I don't know, over almost an hour just making sure I understood every number and could verify where they came from and pulling up the town report and calculating every number. I really would ask, since it would make it so much easier, that next year it be presented in the form that we requested, so that rather than these numbers are detailed in a way that it took me at least 15 minutes to figure out, that they were in reverse order from what I would have expected. The details where each of the amendments from the town meeting, where the numbers come from. So it's absolutely clear and transparent, and anyone could follow it. It would really make a big difference.
Anyone?
Well, Melissa and I spent a long time too, going back and forth.
I'm sure you did, but all I'm saying is document it in a way so that other people can follow it. That's all.
You've got it in front of you. We reviewed the town.
I know, we don't have to go over it again. I went through the whole thing, pulling up the town report, going through all the numbers. All I'm asking is in the future to please document it when you present it to us, so it's much easier.
Do you want a copy of the town report? Do you want a copy of the minutes? Did you want a copy of the
Doris, we have all of that. I went through all
The
of
only
them.
thing you don't have that is the 411 to give you what the total of the grand list is.
True,
See, you wouldn't know that unless you got it from listers.
true.
I have a copy of that if you needed it. But I also want to tell you that Melissa and I had, when we looked at the minutes from the town meeting, there's a couple of things in the minutes that need to be corrected.
Which are,
A couple of numbers that are incorrect on the minutes. They're correct in the town report, but on the minutes, they're incorrect numbers.
and that would be Carol.
Yeah.
And have you brought it to her?
She's on vacation right now.
Okay. So you will be,
Yeah,
okay.
I'll let her know what those are.
So according to the policy that we had created, this is all according to that. We are confident that this is the correct tax rate.
Yes.
All I can say is I ran the numbers myself and went to the town report and pulled out every number, and I spoke to Melissa this afternoon. And the only thing I didn't have was a grand list number to be able to double verify that. If someone would just double verify that and that one piece of division that's on the sheet, then I think we are all good and can say it has been double verified. And we can feel confident going forward.
Is the municipal grand list highlighted? From the grand list. Yeah.
That's what I come up with.
Okay, then I think we're good.
Are we ready to make a motion to adopt the 2025 Town of Newfane municipal tax rate at 0.792421?
I make such a motion.
Is there a second?
Okay.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all
I'm
those.
sorry, just one discussion. Just remind me, how does it compare to last year's rate?
Do you have last year's?
I had, see what you have. Give me a cheat sheet. Last year's municipal rate was 0.7323.
Yeah. Oh, 6
cents.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining? Ayes have it, please stop in and sign when you can. Can you email to Ann to sign, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
We do not have the education rate from the state yet.
Oh, they're still waiting on some.
There's still, so it depends upon when we get that, if we're gonna be able to send out the tax bills by the 15th of July.
Here's hoping. Moving right along, we'll welcome Kate Garrick for the Planning Commission. Good evening. Do you have an update for us on the short-term rental draft?
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Nice to see you all. As I think you know, that has been Jane Douglas's baby, shall we say? So she is looking into the rates that you asked about, and will provide updates. I think it's a constantly changing landscape of ordinances and rates, as you know from reading the paper. But she is working on that for your next meeting. She wasn't available tonight. I can answer other kind of more general questions if you have them. Sorry, I couldn't be there last meeting.
I read it through this today, and I had a number of questions about it. So I don't know if you can answer them or relay it, and then maybe she can speak to it next time. So when I looked at it, I felt like it was asking for a lot of things, had a lot of components to it that felt like we were doing much more than simply collecting information on how many short-term rentals we have in town. I personally am in favor of a very simple registry to find out how many short-term rentals we have. I personally am not in favor of a number of additional things that are detailed in this proposed ordinance. I am not okay with going out and doing inspections. Because I just think the administrative burden of that is huge. I am not in favor of collecting any information that we don't have a specific use for. So I don't think it's any of our business how often someone is renting, is having their space rented. What are we going to do with that data? I would find it useful to know simply how many short-term rentals are there, how many of them are hosted, how many of them are not hosted, where the people are renting out the entire home. I would like there to be that registry. I would like there to be, in my opinion, a very small fee to cover that expense. I believe that before this can be finalized, we would also need to really clarify what that operational procedure would be of who is maintaining the data, what kind of verification process, if any, we want to be doing, and the like. But I would again say that a lot of the information, I think, could, and in my personal opinion, should be removed about all of the additional efforts about, checking if people have done all the state regs, and I can't remember all the things that were in it. Things that are their responsibility to do, anything that doesn't, or that are the state responsibility to do. If it doesn't specifically fall into the town's jurisdiction, then I personally would vote to remove it, because it feels, again, I'm sorry, I'm just repeating myself. I'll say this one last time. If we don't have a specific use for gathering the data, I am not a fan of gathering the data. I think it would make people very uncomfortable. I think it's unlikely that, I think there's very rare circumstances where our collection of the data can be used to help rectify if there is a problem that a short-term rental person is having. I don't know that we want to be in that business. Let it be between them and the renter. So I don't know if other people had a chance to read the document and what their opinions are, but that's mine.
I have not had a
I
chance to.
agree with what you're saying, too. I think it's like you said, just find out how many homes are being done throughout the town. I mean, I don't think we need to be police to start policing all this stuff.
Okay,
Do you have any thoughts, Katie?
I do like the idea of a fire inspection, because we have firefighters in our community who are not paid for what they do, and they need to know how many people they're walking into. Um, To me, that seems like something that needs to be regulated or people won't. And if we're gonna do it, then that needs to be done. Additionally, I think a fee should be the average cost of all of them. What's the average?
the average what? Of all the fees and,
Add all the fees together and make an average, and that's the fee for registration.
Of the other towns?
Pardon? No,
The
no,
average-
no, for the average, what is the average cost of a rental here for one night?
Uh-huh.
Average it together, and that is the fee. So some of them are over $3 grand a night,
Yeah.
and some of them are probably $80 a night.
but that would, boy, those who are the outliers would really raise up the costs, and given that families are doing this as a way to be able to pay their bills, that feels potentially harsh to me.
We'd have
Yeah, I
to
don't
take,
agree
we'd have
with
to take a
that.
look, though. I mean, I think that's a worthy thing to take a look about. That's how other towns.
But what would are we doing this as a way to just add more income to the town?
I think it's multiple things. It's not any one thing.
But in terms of the fee, unless we have a specific purpose that is related to managing the short-term rentals.
We could always use another source of income that is not taxes.
Kate?
I will say this is super great feedback. I will ask, I know you've just given it to me, but because as you and I have discussed a little bit, and this is really a project that Jane has worked on, and it would be great if the select board has time to mark up drafts or send a list of, I've jotted notes, but I think it would be effective if she heard from you, maybe just to mark up a draft. I will say these are great concerns, and as you know, I share some of the concern in particular about enforcement. I don't think we need to do the state's job for it. I do think thinking about, for example, if there are fire safety issues, that's really important to flag. I don't know, humor me, I should, how the town does that for like regular rentals, but it might be worth, the town might receive less pushback if we can key it off that, if there's any possible pushback, but I totally agree that the town should not be in the business of doing the state's enforcing like compliance with state law. I think that there's a way, if you want to have a general catch-all that says, affirm that you're in compliance with all applicable state laws, that's a good way to bounce it back to property owners and the state. I will say on fees, for what it's worth, and I think this is a decision that probably best comes from the select board, since ultimately it gets to be we can recommend to you, but you have to vote on it. The fee issue, one thing to think about if this is the direction you're going, I haven't thought it through, but I hear you on balancing, not penalizing property owners or giving them disincentive to participate, but making revenue where the town can. If where you're going with this is especially a larger fee from folks with larger rentals, Katie, you might consider like a percentage of the rental, so that the $80 a night person who may not be able to afford a couple $100 registration fee might not be paying the same registration fee as the person who charges $3,000 a night and isn't like a room in their home. Jane had talked about, and I think sort of clarifying the distinction between hosted, so-called, which is where you live in the building or on the property. I think that's a meaningful distinction for purposes of fees. I think that my opinion, and this is not really the Planning Commission's opinion, as you can tell by this draft, is that making sure there's a way to collect information about short-term rentals in town is the most important thing, and will be the easiest thing to, it's the least controversial. I don't see a reasonable reason to oppose the town learning what's going on here, especially if we're going to be considering other kinds of regulation or rules about short-term rentals. I sure would want to better know what happens in town before I were to suggest like limits or other rules or requirements, which some towns are trying to do. And, as we balance questions about housing and the town plan, I think they're valid questions, and it's valid to learn like where short-term rentals fit into our housing environment, also our business environment. There are lots of reasons to think about it, but I don't think we can do it reasonably without information first. So I would emphasize that some of the other aspects of short-term rental regulation can be more contentious. You know, even in the planning commission, there are different ideas among us, but I would think the sooner the town can start collecting information, the better for everybody. I will just add something that's come up over the last year or two, but is now much easier to do with recent legislation in Montpelier, is thinking about a local option tax, and that can be specific to like lodging or to certain kinds of goods and services, and that's a great way for the town to raise revenue, and it's not a big hit for residents, but something to start thinking about, especially now that we can do it without a charter change. Sorry, that was a long answer. I hope that's helpful, but I appreciate that you all are taking this on, and I think we can support and recommend, but it's really helpful to get a sense of where the select board would go with this.
In terms of marking up a copy, just two things. It was sent to us as a PDF.
Okay.
So it had to be sent to us as Word. And just in terms of marking up, in terms of open meeting law, we can't all share the document because that becomes a form of meeting. So we can't put it on a Google Doc, but each person could mark it up and then we could discuss it.
My sense is that would be really helpful, and send it not to all of the planning commission, but well, it'd be nice for all of us to see. It is tricky, but to Jane, I just think, or we should do this with her, and not to pass the buck or to waste anybody's time, but this really is her document. So I've taken notes, but
you could also watch this
maybe
video.
we can all take a look at it and have any comments, questions, cares, concerns for the next meeting if Jane's available, if not the first meeting in August, and then we can.
That would be
Jane.
Yeah. Jane will be here. I'll not, but Jane can be there. I think even to the extent you want, Anne, if you have significant comments, like on a document, or just like take a red pen and mark it up and send it to Jane, that might be helpful if we can do that, just in the interest of moving things along. Or if
it could be sent to me in a Word doc, then I could do that and send it to her.
Okay, I'll ask her to do that.
I don't know that I can do it in the next 2 weeks, though, because I'll be out of town.
Well, maybe it would be helpful at, I know we have a lot of other stuff going on, and you all do a phenomenal amount.
The August 5th meeting.
What's that?
August 5th meeting. We could spend a good chunk of time talking about it, since I'm not sure we have a whole lot going on that meeting right now.
Sure. Let me confirm with Jane that she can be there, and then I can also, I'm happy to take notes, but I think it's useful in the first instance for her to work right into the document and run through it would be helpful.
That'd be great. Just let Juanetta know.
Yep. And these are great comments. Thank you. I think we can talk to her about whether, do you want us to come back with a new draft with this, or wait and do it at the August 5th meeting?
I would say just wait until we have all the comments from this draft. How does everyone else feel?
Well, since everyone hasn't had a chance to read it, I think everyone should and have an opportunity to weigh in.
All right, let's be ready to discuss this at length on August 5th unless there's conflict.
That sounds good.
Excellent. Anything else for the Planning Commission? Thank you so much for your hard work.
I just will give you two short updates. They're sort of in between updates. One is that we are waiting for the draft of the zoning bylaw proposed, the housing related, and then other kind of administrative changes to the zoning bylaw from the Wyndham Regional Commission. As soon as we get that, we will set and process the motion of hearing and then moving that along till we pass it to you all, hopefully by, early fall at this rate with the time periods. And we continue to work on the housing question. We've learned a lot, lots of interesting discussions. We have talked about, and we've talked about with Anne's help and support, the idea of spinning off a housing committee to deal with administering ARPA money that would be put aside for housing support, and to kind of get more done on that without making it tying it to the planning commission's meeting schedule and making sure that we have. I see. Is that a hand for me, Katie, or like?
I'm waiting for you to finish speaking, sorry.
Go ahead. And I'm sorry, it's a lot. I know it's July and you all, it's a lot.
I have a question because I've recently applied for my own addition and I wanted to ask why there is a 33% limit on the size of expansions, and if you are talking about it, and if so, what your thoughts are on that.
There is a proposed very significant change for expansion or for ADU, sorry.
Either or, doesn't matter, but for anyone
So there-
putting on an addition, there's this finite 33% of your total housing square footage can only be extended by 33% if you're putting on an addition.
We
So
have changed all the
seems
stuff.
restrictive.
Yeah, no, the proposed language, and I wish I had the updated version. I don't have it back from them yet, but there's a pretty significant change to the language for ADUs or new units. So it will be a greater of, oh, we've changed this so many times, basically up to 1,000 square feet or a larger percent. So there's room for a much more significant expansion, and it will also expand the footprint within the lot and decrease some of the setback requirements. It shouldn't change the fabric of how things feel, especially because, for example, in the villages, most all the buildings and lots are non-conforming. But it should allow us to expand capacity within kind of roughly existing footprints. Because we can't come and like build an apartment tower, but it allows additions and renovations and new construction to kind of map onto what people want to do, what we can do to really increase housing capacity, and also kind of what already exists in non-conforming and grandfathered buildings.
Sure, great, thank you. It just seemed kind of arbitrary and quite restrictive to me, and I'm glad that's being addressed. Thanks.
Yep. We will share that along, and it will be posted as soon as we have the draft. We just don't have the latest draft yet.
Great, thank you.
Look forward to seeing that. All right, anything else for Kate?
Thank you all, as always.
Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you stopping in and for all the updates. All right, scheduled members of the public.
So I'm going to take a minute just to say bye. I've got to dip out.
All right, thank you.
Bye,
Jeff.
Jeff.
Take care.
Hi, Jeff.
Yeah, I will be on the road the next meeting. Hopefully I will have the internet capacity to zoom in from there as well. But I'll be in a hayfield. I'll be in a hayfield at a bluegrass festival, so see what happens.
Sounds terrible.
Have fun and drive
Thanks,
safe.
guys. Have a good evening.
Good night, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
All right, any unscheduled members of the public? New business? Old business. We already did number one, number two, and any updates on the FEMA buyout?
No, we're just continuing. We're working on finalizing the date for the closing. We're hoping it will be around August 1st. And we're making plans for the, what do you call it? Phase 2 of the brownfield remediation, which would mean the removal of the underground storage tanks for the old gas pumps, and testing to see if there's any contamination. And then in the next probably 2 weeks, we'll be finalizing some RFPs to send out for a demolition proposals to get someone lined up to do the demolition of the site. FEMA gives you 90 days from the date that you close to completely demolish the site. We may need to get an extension because of having to do the work on the brownfield remediation. But we're in constant contact with the woman from Vermont Environmental Management, and she does not think we'd have any problem getting an extension for that purpose if we needed it. So we're just trying to keep everything lined up and, so everything's ready to go as soon as we hit the deadline. So the scariest thing I've ever worked on because you have to be so precise with FEMA. So I'm writing the lawyer on almost a daily basis, the Vermont lawyer, making sure we do everything correctly.
Great.
Who does the work for the demolishing? Is that something we have to put out to bid? How does that process work?
They gave me some sample RFPs, and we need to put it out to bid.
I know several people that do that for a living around here and they're really amazing, so I'll send you some names.
Okay, that'd be great. They may be daunted by what's required for FEMA, so we
Local
definitely say it again.
They're local people, so that
Okay.
might, who knows?
Okay.
All right, anything else for FEMA? Thank you for staying on top of that. How about the personnel policy? Anything to
That is making progress and is almost ready to be sent to the lawyer. And the what do you call it? The traffic ordinance policy is with the lawyer now.
Great. We've done the invasive plant, town website, how's that coming along?
That's good. We have a meeting with Bauman on July 15th, and we'll go over the design and talk to him about the best steps to move forward. I think he probably doesn't want to do the design, so we're going to discuss the details of how we would go forward. So we'll have more to report at the August meeting.
Great. We've done the animal dashboard. You're up for the energy grant, Anne?
I just, it's the minimum amount that you can apply for is 50,000. I know I sent it to Kim Friedman, who is supposed to be our energy coordinator, but I didn't hear back from her. I don't know if did you have a chance to try to reach out to her? Or?
I did not, I'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah, so I haven't heard back from her. When I looked over the requirements, nothing jumped out at me. I mean, they're talking about if you want to hire a consultant to help do a assessment of your various town-owned properties to see how you can be more efficient. Well, we just did all the work on the town offices, so I think we're sort of covered there. I mean, there might be a question for not Union Hall, but for Williamsville Hall. That you also, if you wanted to request a grant to buy electric vehicles, that would be another possible use. Huh?
I did send it to Jay and he was brainstorming, so I'll ask him again if he thought of anything.
Okay, because the deadline is August 3rd to submit. I just think, I think it's just worth us giving it a good review.
Yep. And how about your the policing? We had a very good meeting. It was very similar to the last one we went to, where he talked about his idea of regional policing and having many, many towns be a part of it all. He's looking for support from towns. It really isn't too much different, do you think?
No, but we've heard it twice now, so.
But it's from the document you sent, it sounded like that what he is proposing as a mechanism is creating a COG, a Council of Governments. And so that requires a state legislation in order to do that.
Correct. Which is what he's hoping for it all to go into the legislature, so it will come from there.
So he's looking for the towns to give their support, which he asked before. Did we ever do anything about that?
Did.
And we did. So that part's done.
We sent a letter of support for his vision.
But this is slow, I mean, if everything, what did he say? If everything goes smoothly, it would be 2026 before it would be an option for us. If everything moves through legislation and setup is great and wow, they have money too, then it would be, the soonest would be another 2 years.
Because the state passed a bill this year to do a analysis of strengthening local government by looking at what could be done. And one of the ideas was looking at things like public safety. And I assume by that they would also be thinking of setting up something like this Council of Government. So it might be an idea whose time is coming from multiple perspectives, because there's a committee that's been formed of the legislature to review this. And they have dates when they have to submit reports, so you may not be the only one asking for this, which may give it more legs.
True. And then on top of that, they had a talk about the animal control where they're looking for more towns to be a part of it, that there is a huge need for her and her services, and she went way over the hours, but the sheriff's department matched them this past year. So she was looking for our budget and what we had set out for that program, so they could look at it further. But she's been doing a great job. And all the towns should be a part of it, because there is really a big need. So,
True.
okay. Any other old business? Do we have any correspondence?
No, ma'am.
Is there a motion that Katie and I can approve the pay orders
Make a motion.
or sign for them?
Thank you.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstain? We abstain? Well, ayes have it. We voted the last time too, so. With that, we have nothing else. We're gonna go into pay orders. I would like to thank everyone for being here tonight. Stay safe, happy 4th of July, and see you next time. Be
Bye,
safe.
everyone.